France, Macron, whose wife treats him extremely badly. And he's still recovering from the right to the jaw. And I say, Emmanuel, we'd love to have some help in the Gulf. No. We cannot do that. No. We can do that after the war is won. I said, no, I don't need after the war is won, Emmanuel. Many of them said, we'll be there after the war is completed. And so I learned about NATO. NATO won't be there if we ever have the big one. We took out the first regime 100%. That was Khomeini. And then I said, they all met 88 people, and they were going to pick a new regime. And as they were voting, we took them out, so that was number 2. And now we're dealing with the third group of people, and they're much different. Actually, they're much less radical, and it's a new regime. So let them do it. Let France do it. They get a lot of oil from the Strait. Let the European countries do it. Let South Korea, who is not helpful to us, by the way, let South Korea, we only have 45,000 soldiers in harm's way over there right next to a nuclear force. Let South Korea do it. Let Japan do it. They get 90% of their oil from the Strait. Let China do it. All I want to do is make sure they don't ever have a nuclear weapon. And the other thing, this was not part of what I wanted to do, but we've done it, I guess, through sheer force of personality. We have a regime change like nobody thought was possible. They said, what do you mean you have regime change? My friend, great show. I love this guy. He's so nice to me. Every time I watch, and I appreciate. We're not supposed to be seduced that way, right? But I am. When somebody's nice to me, I love that person. Even if they're bad people, I couldn't care less. I'll fight to the end for them. So I appreciate it. But I want to see no nuclear weapon. But we also won regime change. They said, I spoke with the Washington Post, another beauty that's going down the tubes. But the Washington Post said, what do you mean you have regime change? You don't have regime change. I said, no. We took out the first regime 100%. That was Khomeini. And then I said, they all met 88 people, and they were going to pick a new regime. And as they were voting, we took them out, so that was number 2. And now we're dealing with the third group of people, and they're much different. Actually, they're much less radical, and it's a new regime. And they said, we never thought of it that way. We have regime change. We got it by accident. We actually got it by accident, because I never liked the idea of, the regime change thing is too complex to put it down on a wish list, because if you don't make it with me, if I don't make it, I end up ahead. He didn't get so I never say I wanted it. So I never talked about regime change, but we got it. But we've done an amazing thing over there, and tonight I'm making a little speech at 9:00, and basically I'm going to tell everybody how great I am. What a great job I've done. What a phenomenal job. What a phenomenal job I've done. But seriously, if you didn't have me, if you had some different type of a president, you wouldn't have Israel. I know you're big Israel fans. Frankly, evangelicals and Christians, just Christians, I think they like Israel more than Jewish people like Israel, if you want to know the truth. It's really true. I get so many coming up. And I don't know when that started. It did start not thousands of years ago, I can tell you. It started. But the love for Israel is great. You wouldn't have Israel, and you wouldn't have the Middle East either. You would not have. You would have had a nuclear weapon. It started by taking out Soleimani. Then I terminated the Iran nuclear deal that was given to us by Barack Hussein Obama. And now we're working with Venezuela, and we've taken in many times the cost of the attack, many times, and we're working with them. It's like a joint venture. And we have tremendous amounts of oil. And we could do that with Iran very easily. We could just take their oil. But, I'm not sure that the people in our country have the patience to do that, which is unfortunate. They want to see it end. If we stayed there, I'd prefer just to take the oil. We could do it so easily. I would prefer that. But people in the country sort of say, just win. You're winning so big. Just win. Come home. And I'm okay with that, too, because we have a lot of oil between Venezuela and our oil. We're controlling now 59% of the oil in the world. And the problem with the Strait is they can have one terrorist there with a machine gun someplace, and they'll say, oh, it's not totally clean, So let them do it. Let France do it. They get a lot of oil from the Strait. Let the European countries do it. Let South Korea, who is not helpful to us, by the way, let South Korea, we only have 45,000 soldiers in harm's way over there right next to a nuclear force. Let South Korea do it. Let Japan do it. They get 90% of their oil from the Strait. Let China do it. Let them all do it. What the hell are we doing it for? We're doing really well as a country. We're teaching people how to live in safety. We're over in Iran. We're sort of pretty much winding that up. Have to take a few more hits. We want to make sure we don't ever have them allow them to have a nuclear weapon because they'll use it, and you see how serious they were with the conventional ballistic missiles. They have thousands of them. We've blown most of them up. You notice every week it gets a little less at us and at our allies. We've had some very good allies over there. We've had some very bad allies in NATO. I hope you're all watching that, Scott, because we had some asks. And, we spend trillions of dollars on NATO. And when we need them, which we never do, we didn't need them here either. To be honest, I was really asking because I wanted to see what they do. We didn't need them. We blasted the hell out of them, out of Iran. And the last thing I needed was NATO stepping in our way because they're a paper tiger. But so we didn't need them, but I asked anyway. And they probably think I'm the worst salesman ever. I was the worst. They would have much preferred Franklin Graham or somebody that's a good salesman than Trump because I'd say, we'd love to have some help. Oh, President, I'm not sure that we can. Oh, that's okay. You don't want to do it? Well, if we. Oh, that's okay. You don't have to do it. So he gets off, probably says, man, that was easier than I thought. Then I call up France, Macron, whose wife treats him extremely badly. And he's still recovering from the right to the jaw. And I say, Emmanuel, we'd love to have some help in the Gulf, even though we're setting records and knocking out bad people and knocking out ballistic missiles. We'd love to have some help. If you could you please send ships immediately? No. We cannot do that. No. We can do that after the war is won. They said, no, I don't need after the war is won, Emmanuel. Many of them said, we'll be there after the war is completed. And so I learned about NATO. NATO won't be there if we ever have the big one. You know what I mean by the big one. We ever have the big one. Hopefully we won't. Relationships very good with the big one. Better than with NATO. But they won't be there. And we spend billions. We didn't have to go into Ukraine. Ukraine's thousands of miles away across the ocean. We helped them. We had a president who's a stupid individual. Gave him $350 billion, got nothing for it. Gave him so much money, used so much ammunition. We're making ammunition all over the place because we need it, because he gave so much away to Ukraine. Got nothing for it. And I sell them ammunition. The European Union pays for it. What the hell, they have to do something, right? So they're good for paying for it. But everything we sold, we did. But I just want to tell you, NATO treated us very badly, and you have to remember it, because they'll be treating us badly again if we ever need them, and hopefully we're never going to need them. I don't think we will need them. I don't think they can do very much. I actually asked UK, who should be our best. In fact, the King is coming over here in 2 weeks. He's a nice guy, King Charles, but should be our best, right, Brooke? But they weren't our best. I said, you have 2 old, broken-down aircraft carriers. You think you could send them over? Oh, I'll have to ask my team. I said, you're the prime minister. You don't have... No. I have to ask my team, President. My team has to meet. We're meeting next week. Oh, next week? But the war already started. Next week, it's not good. The war's going to be over in 3 days. My prediction, it turns out. By the way, do we have the greatest military ever? Huh? We have the great. So anyway, so we've knocked them for a loop. I don't know if you saw the explosion the other day. We got the mother lode. We hit the mother lode like nobody's ever. Did you see that?
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.